It's a new year, and with a new year, new me comes the best time to finally start that business you've been thinking about. This is the year to make the leap into entrepreneurship, become your own boss, take charge. January will be over before you know it. Don't let it slip away. The most powerful move you can make to take life by the reins is to start your business with Shopify. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made the leap, from small businesses and startups to juggernauts like Mattel and Gymshark. And Shopify gives you everything you need to sell, both in person and online. They have hundreds of awesome templates you can use to set up your online store and built-in AI tools to help with item descriptions, headlines, and enhanced product photos. And when your store is ready to go, Shopify can help you tell the world about it with their easy-to-use email and social media campaigns. And most importantly, Shopify can help you deliver to those customers by putting your orders, inventory, and tools to expand to more markets all into one simple-to-use dashboard. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period and start selling today at shopify.com/RTG. Go to shopify.com/RTG. That's shopify.com/RTG. Hear your first this new year with Shopify by your side. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game, where most weeks a buddy of mine and I sit down and geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And as you can probably see, there is no Remember the Game this week. It's the first week of the month, which means it is the bye week. Here at Remember the Game, I usually skip 1 week a month to help me catch up on all the games I'm playing for ye old podcast. But have no fear, we got stories for years, thanks to our 4 additional Patreon shows we do every single week. So I'm raiding the archives and dropping another one of those up here now on the free feed for all of you. What does Peter say on that episode of Family Guy? Well, we call you normies. No, anyways, for you yeah, I think that's what it is, because he's like working out and he's jacked and he's trying to make Lois feel bad. Well, we call you normies. I've been watching, so anyway, you guys don't care, but well, maybe you do care about my thoughts on Family Guy. I don't know, whatever the fuck. Anyways, I'm taking the week off. And so I thought I'd drop one of our freebies here. And tomorrow, for all of our Patreons, I am dropping my Hollow Knight Silksong review. Much anticipated Hollow Knight Silksong review, an absolute contender for this year's Game of the Year. And with the Game Awards and Game of the Year and everything talk all over the internet these days, I thought for this week's freebie, we would go back to last September 26, 2024, Expansion Pass episode 230. And I would make my review of last year's Game of the Year, both as voted by you, the listeners, to win the prestigious Molly Award at our Blankies Award show, and my personal pick for the 2024 Game of the Year, Astrobot. I figured I'd make that review free now, so everybody that wants to listen to it can. It is spoiler-free. There's really not a lot to spoil, but I keep my review spoiler-free. Astrobot is fucking incredible. If you've not played it, I cannot recommend it enough, and hopefully this episode will convince you to take the plunge if you already haven't. So enjoy this free episode. You guys know the rigmarole. If you like this, please consider signing up on our Patreon. There's hundreds and hundreds of new episodes with of archived, episodes, with new ones going live every week. My throat is getting a little bit hoarse because I just spent 90 minutes reviewing Hollow Knight Silksong, which, as I mentioned, will be available on Patreon tomorrow for all of our subscribers. Subscriptions start at just $3 a month, and you can also write into the show, join our Discord, and all the other stuff I promote every single week. I will let you know that in 2026, I'm leaning toward switching the bye weeks to the end of the month. Instead of the first Wednesday of every month, I might skip the last Wednesday of every month, but you don't care. As long as there's something here for you to listen to, you don't care, right? I'll get it figured out, and then maybe you'll figure it out. Maybe you won't. Whatever. All right, I'm leaving. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Please enjoy this free episode. We'll be back next week with our Batman Arkham City episode. And then to wrap up December, we've got a Donkey Kong Country Revisited episode coming up, Simpsons skateboarding on the PS2. And the goal is for New Year's Eve. Remember the Game 360. Tyler and I are going to be looking back at BioShock 2. So some great episodes to wrap up December. Enjoy this one. Have a great weekend, great holiday season, all that stuff. Go Broncos. Go Habs. Talk to you later. Oh, yeah, leave us a good review if you like this. I don't know what they do, but I'm supposed to ask for them. Okay, see ya. Oh, buddy, let's talk some Astrobot. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 230th edition of Remember the Game Expansion Pass. It is one of our Patreon exclusive weekly podcast here at Remember the Game Industries. My name is Adam Blake, and if you're hearing this, you're watching this, you're on the live stream, whatever have you. First of all, sorry it's a few hours late. Don't blame me, blame electricity. Second of all, you support us on the old Patreon box, which allowed me, which provided me, I should say, with the finances necessary to purchase said Astrobot, which I would say has probably changed my life because it's such a great fucking game. So thank you all so much. And yes, this week it is one of my Out of This World Space Age modern game reviews. And frankly, I think this is probably one of the most anticipated modern game reviews we've ever had here on Expansion Pass because we're talking Astrobot. So many of you have been asking me, when's the Astrobot review coming? We actually bumped the Patreon poll topic episode to the first week of October so that I could squeeze this Astrobot review in as soon as I could after I finished the game. Holy fuck, this game is so good. This game is so fucking good. PlayStation has a new franchise on their hands, and honestly, I think Astro could end up being one of, if not the face of PlayStation if they keep putting them in games like this. This is, because we've always said, like, when you think of Xbox, I'll hear the argument for Gears of War, but I think Master Chief is if Master Chief is Xbox's Mario, then Marcus is like their Link. You know what I mean? But like Master Chief is the face of Xbox, in my opinion. Mario is the face of Nintendo, in my opinion. But there's never really been a face of... I think Crash, maybe in the early 90s, you could have heard an argument, was the face of PlayStation. But now it's like, is it Kratos? Is it Joel? Is it Ellie? Is it Aloy? Is it Astro? Like, they have a lot of big IPs. And I really think they could keep... If they keep putting out games this good, Astro could become the face of PlayStation. And now anyone that listens to Remember the Game, which I assume is all of you if you're listening to this, know that platformers are my poison of choice. I love platformers. And while I do consider myself a little bit of a foodie, a foodie when it comes to platforming, Astrobot stands up there with some of the best platforming games I've ever played in my entire life. So really looking forward to talking about this one. And if you're worried about spoilers, you're good right until the end. There really isn't much to spoil. Like, this story, I guess the story is akin to Bowser has kidnapped Princess Peach. The story is you were flying through space on a PS5 and it got destroyed and you have to go get your parts back. There's really no story to worry about here. There's going to be probably a 5-minute spoiler cast at the end of the episode where I'm just going to talk about some of my favorite character cameos and stuff like that. But I'll drop those right at the end. I'll play music before it happens. So you have a whole big podcast to listen to before we get there, okay? So we're going to review Astrobot in just a minute because, as you know, part of your Patreon perk is a peek past the podcast. So gather all your bots, climb onto your DualSense controller, and crank up that music. And if you thought that music was good, the song that's coming up after the peek past the podcast has been stuck in my head since yesterday morning when I set up the recording session for this. Like, I was listening to it in my car driving last night. It's so fucking good. Anyways, we'll get into all that in a minute. As I've mentioned, we skipped Remember the Game this week, being the last week of September, so that I could do a full month of episodes in October. I usually skip the first Wednesday of the month. We're going to go 5 episodes all the way through October. We really wanted to cover Mass Effect 3 here in the last week of September, but it just didn't work out. And then my buddy Tyler was ready to cover Jurassic Park this week, but the timing didn't really work, and I wanted to spend more time with it. So I'm hoping that he's going to be able to make it for the recording session for Jurassic Park. So that's what's coming. All right. In October, we're going to kick it off with Jurassic Park for the Super Nintendo, which won the Patreon poll last month. Then we're going to go to Silent Hill 2. Finally, I hear all of you. Then we're probably going to do, I may switch the order, but it's going to either be the Ghostbusters video game and Resident Evil the movie review, or vice versa, depending on if I have time to finish, because I need to replay Ghostbusters. And then whatever wins this month's Patreon poll will wrap up October. Looking at it right now, it's come down to Alan Wake and Alien Isolation, and I think Alien Isolation's up about 58 to 42, so I'm pretty confident Alien Isolation is going to win. I'll be honest, I'm not super excited about Alien Isolation. It looks too scary, and I don't really enjoy stealth games. But y'all voted for it, so I'll do my best, and we'll make an episode out of it. So that's what's coming in October. I started the new Zelda this morning, Echoes of Wisdom, or whatever it's called now. It's the first hour of it seems really good, so that review will be coming as soon as it's done, and I'm hoping to fire up Silent Hill 2 Remake in October as well. So I will say, too, speaking of episodes, I'm a little bit about... I'm looking forward to playing Silent Hill 2 because I like Silent Hill 1 and I like Silent Hill 3, but I am hoping it lives up to the hype because people have been just sucking the Silent Hill 2 knob for since this show started, telling me that I need to play Silent Hill 2. It's the best Silent Hill. People seem to be making it out to be the Resident Evil 4 of Silent Hill. Not so much from like an action standpoint, but as like the crown jewel of the library. I really hope it's good. So it should be fun. I don't have too much else to tell you guys. Appreciate everyone that's been coming by the streams lately. If you didn't know, I'm on Twitch and YouTube now, so you can check me out on either one if you want to. And we're headed into the busiest time of the year for comedy for me, as most of you know. I have shows every weekend in November and December until the Christmas week. And I don't have a show on November 9th and 10th right now. So if I haven't picked up a booking by around October 7th or 8th, then I'm going to slot in the 24-hour stream for the weekend of November 9th and 10th. So I'll probably do it on Friday and Saturday, 12 hours a day. But we'll see if I pick up a booking in the next couple of weeks. So, and for all of you asking about the Toronto video, sorry it's taken so long. I fucking hate doing video stuff. I fucking despise it. So I don't have more clips and shit. It is awful for me. I just suck at it. But I'm hoping to have it up in the next 10 to 14 days. Probably going to sell it through Patreon because I can sell merchandise on there now. The plan, I think, is it's going to be $10, and then you'll be able to I think you could be able to just download it and watch it in perpetuity. That's what we're aiming for. So making sure that I got to make sure the video with everything is to the, we'll see. That's what I'm shooting for those of you that have been asking. All right. I'm really excited to talk Astrobot. This episode is a day late, and it drives me crazy because I've been so excited to talk about this game. I know a lot of you are excited to hear about this game. Normally, I would cue up some music. It'd be quiet underneath me, and then I would fade it in when I'm done talking. But I love this song. This is the one that I love from this game so much that I'm just going to let it play for about 30 seconds so I don't get in trouble. And then when I fade it out, we'll dive into the superb world of Astro and Astrobot. And don't worry, no major spoilers until the very end. And I'll play music before those start, okay? Enjoy this song. Enjoy this episode. Here we fucking go. God, it's so good. And that's where it gets best, but I've already let it play for 30 seconds, and I'm pushing my luck. It's so good. Look up the soundtrack on YouTube. Listen to it. Enjoy it. It's magnificent, all right? Listen, it is very, very, very rare that I sit down to review a game on this show, and I'm practically at a loss for any criticism whatsoever. But that is almost the case with Astrobot. I mean, if anyone that listens to this show for a long time knows, Super Mario World is the game I give a 10 out of 10. I always say it's the perfect game. That's why it gets the perfect score. And there's probably been, I don't know exactly how many, but I would guess maybe 5 or 6 games in the history of this show that I have broken my perfect score rule and slapped one on it. Astrobot is knocking on the door of a perfect 10. And I actually haven't put a score at the end of this episode. I do have one minor nitpick, and I'm trying to decide if it's enough to take away that perfect 10 score or not. So, as I mentioned, I won't spoil any character. I'm going to spoil like 1 or 2 character appearances that I think everybody is going to know are already in the game anyways. But other than that, you're safe till the very end. I'll play some music. You're golden for a while, okay? We'll start with the one tiny nitpick, because after that, I'm just going to be going down on this bot for like 45 minutes. I did find the final level of the game to be a disappointment. One of my favorite things about platformers, especially modern platformers, is that last super tough level that a lot of games sneak in as long as you get all the collectibles or beat all the levels or whatever the fuck. And like some of them I'm thinking of are like the darkest side of the moon or whatever it is in Super Mario Odyssey. That Champions Road in Mario 3D World, it might be the toughest final level I've ever played still. And some people had really hyped up the final level of this game once you collect all the bots, and I was super excited to play it. I actually set up a Twitch/YouTube stream just to stream that final level of Astrobot, and then I beat it in 15 minutes. Boo earns. The level's not bad at all, and if you struggled with it, I'm not mocking you, because trust me, stealth games, I struggle to get past the tutorial levels. I know I consider myself kind of good at platformers. It's like the one genre other than Tetris that I kind of understand, and I wanted more pushback. So I found that to be just a little bit deflating. Not a bad level, but not nearly enough bite for my taste. But that is the only criticism that I can think of in this game. I don't think you're going to hear me drop another negative thing about this game for the rest of the review. And if my only criticism is that the final level of the game wasn't hard enough, do you see the argument for a perfect 10? It's right there. So let's dive into all the good, and then I'll make a decision here at the end of this game. I am not a graphics guy, and most of you know that. But I have to say, the graphics in this game are so beautiful that I almost felt obligated to start the episode talking about them. It is fucking gorgeous. This was the first game I played on my new TV down in the basement, and some have asked what the specs are. I don't even know. I don't know. It's like a big TV. It's not like an OLED. I couldn't afford an OLED. I don't know what it is. Crystal something or other. It's like a normal, nice, big TV. But this was the first game I played on it, and it just Shaylee came down and saw me playing it and was like, holy fuck, that looks incredible. And I was like, yeah, it's not the TV. This game is just stunning. There's not one level of Astrobot that doesn't pop. It is so bright. It's so colorful. It's so crisp. It's sharp. It runs smooth. It looks like playing a Pixar movie a lot of the times. Even when you get into the ice and desert levels, which I normally think are ugly and boring, even in Mario, they look so good in Astrobot. Even the desert and the ice levels, there's not one ugly level in this game. The backgrounds, I like that the levels are fairly linear. There's a little bit of exploration. You can go off the beaten path a little bit, but they're not like a big open, like when you play Mario Odyssey and you're in like one of those levels where you're running around finding the moons everywhere. I still love Mario Odyssey. I will say it doesn't matter. We'll talk about that in a second. But like this one's not as big and open as that. It is, and I think that does help make the game look better because they're like, well, we know you're going to be loosely on these tracks. So all we have to do is build you like some platforms and some islands to jump on, and then we can just put whatever we want in the distance that you're not going to be able to get to anyways. And I do think that helps, but everything in this game looks good. The backgrounds, the little details, the grass that we always joke about, the grass doesn't look good. The grass looks fucking great in this game. The trees, the plants, the enemies, the water, every single level you start, you fly into it on like a DualSense controller ship and it's flying past you and you can control it in there and it always just looks spectacular. This is one of the best looking video games I've ever played. And I should address the plumber in the room. I guess elephant would have worked because Mario's become an elephant now. You are going to hear a lot of Mario comparisons this week, and I've seen it said online, and I don't disagree. Some people have said Mario and Nintendo don't own the platforming genre. Why is it? Because a lot of people have said that this is Mario done by PlayStation, or this is like PlayStation's take on Mario. I know it bothers some people to hear that. I have to say, in my opinion, that's like the highest praise you can give a platformer. I've always considered Mario to be the gold standard for platforming games. And so I know that some of you PlayStation diehards are probably sick of hearing Astrobot compared to Mario. But I'm like, dude, that's like, I'm using an analogy that a lot of you probably aren't going to understand because you don't watch hockey, but like, if you were to compare like Connor McDavid to Wayne Gretzky, it's like, that is a big fucking, like that's high. That's good for him. And like Mario for me is the Wayne Gretzky of platformers, and Astrobot might be the Connor McDavid. It's so good. So I use it as a compliment. Rubber Fork wrote in and said, Astrobot is so good. You could slap a Mario skin on everything and no one would bat an eye. Exactly. And listen, as ride or die ball washing Mario fanboy as I am, there is literally no higher praise that I can heap on a platforming game than to compare it to what I consider to be the GOAT. So when I say that Astrobot Mario's better than Mario does sometimes, that's not calling Astro a Mario clone. That's saying that the dude beats the GOAT at his own game. It is the highest possible compliment that I could pay Astrobot. So I just wanted to get that out there because you are going to hear a lot of Mario comparisons this week. And it is true too. Some people have pointed out Astrobot's got some Mario Galaxy DNA in it, which I do agree with. And that's not a bad thing. But like you're flying through space on the overworld on like a ship. You're going to random planets that are self-contained levels, all fitting different themes based on the planet or the galaxy you're on. You're looking for collectibles scattered throughout there. Like there's undeniably some Mario Galaxy influence in Astrobot, but I would not go anywhere near as far as to say Astrobot is a Mario Galaxy clone. I just think it's it's another game along the lines of Mario Galaxy, which is one of the best games ever. So if like I was just before I stopped talking about Mario a little bit and get back to Astrobot. Like if I was slotting Astrobot into my all-time, let's just say Astrobot was a Mario game, and I was slotting it into my all-time favorite Mario game list, it would be top 5. This game is better than most Mario games. I can't express how much respect and admiration I have for Astrobot. This game is so good. All right, so. There's why you're going to hear Mario this week, all right? So the graphics, fucking stunning. They're so good that I felt like I had to start the review with them, and they're not even that important to me. How it plays is what matters. It doesn't matter how it looks, but it is really gorgeous. That said, it also plays magnificently. It controls so sharp, and it's really simple. I think one of the best things Astrobot does is it doesn't matter if you're a 30-plus year veteran of playing platforming games or if you've never played one or you've got young kids and maybe this is one of their first platformers or someone like, Shaylee doesn't play a lot of video games. She could pick this up and play it in a heartbeat. The controls are super simple. You don't feel like you're missing anything, but it doesn't feel like you're limited in what you can do. Astro can jump. He can punch around him. You can charge up his punch to do the classic spin attack. And once you jump, if you push jump again, you can shoot lasers out below him. And they'll either damage enemies you're floating across or they'll let you glide for a few seconds until the lasers fade out. That is the basics of your controls. And then you can use the punch button to grab, there's all kinds of ropes and wires sticking out of the ground, and you can go up and grab them. And then you grab them with the punch button and then hold back on analog. And it really, I think it makes it makes great use of the DualSense controller. When you're backing up, it really does feel like you're huffing on this fucking rope that's got something big on the end. And then eventually it'll just pop and maybe you'll expose a platform or an item or whatever the fuck. So that laser glide thing you shoot out from under I don't know if it comes out of his hands or his feet, but it doesn't matter. You shoot this little laser down once you jump. And you can float for 2 or 3 seconds as you gradually start, the laser starts to lose its oomph and you start to sink back down to the ground. You can use it to fight enemies while you're flying over them, which is really handy when the enemies are electric and they'll hurt you if you fucking punch them. You fly over them and zap them instead. But it has a lot of other purposes. You can use it to break glass floors, which I fucking thought was awesome because some of them are just glass floors over a hole. And so while you're flying over it, if you're shooting the laser down, you'll break the glass. And then if you land there, it's over. You die. But sometimes there'll be a hidden area under there, a hidden collectible or whatever the fuck. It's just no fluff, no waste. The controls feel perfect. They're super easy to pick up. It's all you need. Mwah. And if you want to add just a little bit more seasoning to the controls, spices, there's power-ups that you can pick up in this game that are fucking awesome. And one thing I really like about Astrobot is, and I love when any game does this, the levels are designed around the ability you're going to pick up. Again, to go back to Mario, but you pick up a fire flower and then you just keep the fire flower or the cape or whatever until you die. So you can use it in any level. I like that because it's nice that if you have a good run, you can keep your power up for as long as you want. But I've really, really gotten into games where the developers design a level around one ability. And when you beat that level, the ability is gone, but you have that ability for the entire level. It really gives developers a chance to get creative and explore what all that ability can do. If you, for argument's sake, one of the abilities in Astrobot is, so I guess these are going to be very minor spoilers. I'm not going to spoil all of them, but I'm going to tell you about a couple of the abilities you pick up. One of them is these two, frog hands. And they look like punching gloves, and you can either throw really long, springy arm punches around you, or you can shoot them out and use them to, bite onto things and grab things, and you can swing off of them and stuff. If you could just use that ability in every level throughout the game, I think it would break the game a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But because you've only got it in a few certain specific levels, those levels are 100% brilliantly crafted around that power. You can't lose it by taking damage. Also, shout out to Infinite Lives, no timers. Every game needs that now. Most do, but they need that. So if you die with these frog gloves, when you come back to life, which is instant, you still have your frog gloves, which is really, really nice. And those levels are actually some of my favorites. You can use them to fight enemies. There's giant slingshots, and you'll shoot both the left and right arm into the slingshots and then pull yourself back. And then when you let go, it just shoots you up to the next area. There's these spinning red gelatin platform things, and you'll shoot one with your frog glove and then hang off of it as you swing around, and then you can use it to jump off and get to the next one and things like that. The developers, I can't praise them enough for, I think they really pushed these different abilities to the absolute limit of what they could do, and they really took their time to design some brilliant mechanics and some great levels around them. And the other thing is, I don't think there's a dud ability in this game. There's not one ability that I picked up at some point and was like, fuck, I hate this one. Not one. I won't spoil what they all do, but like the stopwatch, the rocket arm, the monkey arms that let you climb are very, very cool. I think the best ability in the game is the mouse. If you've played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think that's probably my favorite level in the game is the mouse level. But there's not a bad level in the game. They're all brilliant. I love exploring the levels too. They're not too big. They're not too small. Like I said, they are fairly linear, and there's not a ton of exploration to them, but they're like platforming 101. You know, if you see a cliff on a mountain over there, maybe there's a way to climb up to that cliff, and there might be a hidden collectible or a bot or whatever the fuck up there, that kind of stuff. But you're not going to get lost. You're not going to spend out. Like, this isn't Donkey Kong 64. We got these massive levels to go through and look around. They're fairly linear. Your primary objective in each level is to just get to the end. There's a checkpoint at the end. Get there, beat the level, huzzah, move on. But while you're going through each level, there's collectibles to pick up. And I really think, if you want to just play the game by just running through it as fast as you can and getting to the ends of the levels, you probably could, but I think you're doing yourself a disservice. This is not a particularly long game. I did not platinum it, but I did 100% it. I got all the collectibles. I did everything. The only trophies I'm missing are stuff like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, you know, like there'll be one like, oh, go back and kill 3 enemies with 1 spin attack type thing. Like, you know, those little mini objectives in the game to get those. Those are the only ones I'm missing. I've got every collectible. I've beaten every level. I've 100%ed the game itself. And I think it took me about 20 hours. So it's not that long. I think you're really not playing the game right if you don't try to find everything and you just run through it. And if you're like, fuck, I hate looking for collectibles, the collectibles in this game are done as perfectly as everything else in Astro Bot. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's the holiday season, and most of us have some kind of traditions this time of year. The routine get-togethers and parties. Maybe you're one of those families that opens a present on Christmas Eve. I was always so jealous of my friends that were in those families. Having those long-standing traditions is great, and starting new ones can be just as awesome. We all focus on making sure our loved ones enjoy the holidays, but it's important to look out for yourself during the busiest time of the year as well. Therapy can be a great way to do just that, and maybe it's time to start a new tradition of looking after yourself and your mental health. BetterHelp can make that a reality, and their flexible scheduling ensures you'll be able to fit them in around everything else you have going on in December. You can meet with your BetterHelp therapist online when and how it works best for you. And if it's not a fit, you can switch to another one of BetterHelp's over 30,000 therapists anytime for no additional charge. BetterHelp has helped over 5 million people around the world take the therapy plunge, and they have a 4.9 out of 5 rating for live sessions to back them up across 1.5 million reviews. This December, start a new tradition by taking care of you. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/RememberTheGame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/RememberTheGame. First of all, I love, and every game with collectibles should do this, I love that at any time I can pause the game and I can see how many more collectibles I need to find in a level. And if you don't know, the main collectibles in the game are either bots or puzzle pieces. And I'll explain how they both work in a couple of minutes. But at any time when you're in a level, you can pause it and it might show you 5 bot like silhouettes, like their head silhouettes, and 3 puzzle piece silhouettes. And that's telling you that there's 5 bots and 3 puzzle pieces to find in this level. I love that you can do that. And even better than that is when you pick one up, they check off in order. I love that. So let's just say I'm going through a level that has 7 bots and I find my first one and I pick them up, and then the little thing pops up to tell me I've picked up this bot, but it's bot number 2. So there's an empty head silhouette, bot 2 is filled in, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know that the one I missed is somewhere between the beginning of the stage and the one I just found, as opposed to like let's just say I picked it up and it was just like, hey, you found one of 7 bots. I have no idea if I've missed any or whatever the fuck. It's not going to tell you where they are. It's just telling you the order in which you will find them. I fucking love, and does the same thing with the puzzle pieces. As someone that loves to try to find every collectible on a level the first time I go through it, there was a few I had to go back and do a second time, but I do my absolute best to find them all as I'm going through. That is just the most soothing, calming thing in the world, because nothing is more infuriating than when it's like, hey, there's 7 bots here, and then I find one, and I'm like, man, I'm like 2 minutes into this level, and this is really the first bot? And now I can't help but go back and just like dust every corner of the first 2 minutes of the level looking for a bot that I may or may not have missed. I hate that. So massive shout out to any game developer that lets you know the order of the collectibles so you know where you've missed one. And, oh, God. So better. So much better. My God. HornetBox69 said, the only frustrating thing about this game is when you find a bot and the icon pops up and it shows you missed one somewhere. That is frustrating, but it's so much easier to at least know a ballpark idea of where it is. In the like, at least it's giving you a vicinity, which is thank fuck. Makes it so much less frustrating to do a completionist run. Like I said, I did do that. People have asked me, am I going to go back and get the platinum? I don't know. I'm not a trophy guy. Like, I've never been one to show off my trophies. The only platinums I have are for retro games where you get one just by playing 100% of the game. But that said, I really enjoyed, like, if I didn't have more games to get to, I would honestly do another playthrough of Astro Bot right now, because I like that game so much. So I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't really care about trophies, but maybe. So the bots are in order. The puzzle pieces are in order. And now the third collectible in the game is portals. And not every level has a portal, which is basically like a second exit, a hidden exit. Some levels have them, some don't. And I love that both the game tells you that the level has a portal exit, but it doesn't tell you where it is. And I have to say, some of them can be kind of tough to find. A couple of them, the very first level you play in the game has a portal. And I beat that level, and I think I probably played through that level 3 times and did not find the portal, which I got a little bit frustrated. And honestly, some of the puzzle pieces in the bots, a lot of them are fairly easy to find, and they're pretty out in the open, particularly the bots, because they're usually crying out for help when you're near them. So if you're listening, you can hear them too. But there's a few of them that are pretty tough to find, which brings me to another great thing this game does. And you're going to hear that a lot because this game does everything great. Once you beat a level once, then you can go back in to replay it. You don't have to recollect anything you've already found. And you can hire a bird. There's like a little bird cage right at the beginning of the stage. It costs you 200 coins. And when you buy it, it follows you through the whole level, and it'll start to like beep and signify when you're close to a bot, a puzzle piece, or a portal exit that you've missed. So I love when games give you the option of a little help to help you find the stuff you've missed after I've done an exhaustive search on my first playthrough. But if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. I fucking love that idea. And just quickly, because there's not a ton to say about them, we'll get more into the coins later. You have so many coins in this game that spending 200 on the bird is that's like dropping a nickel in real life. And I'm sorry if a nickel's a lot of money to you, but I will say, I've been blessed. A nickel is not a lot of money to me. So it's really just the 200 coins you drop in this game is not a big deal. It doesn't matter. So, though the one thing I will say, and it's not a criticism, but it's something to be aware of. Some of the puzzle pieces are right at the beginning of the level when you're on your ship crashing into the level. They can be tricky because the bird you don't get the bird until you actually crash land into the level you're on and set out to do it. So if the puzzle piece is behind the starting point of the level, the bird won't signify it. So there was a couple of those that I missed, and there was one of them I had to look up. And I hate having to do that, but I probably played through this level 20 times, and I could not find it. I bought the bird 3 times. He couldn't find it. So finally I was like, where in the bloody fuck is this puzzle piece? And then when I looked it up, I was like, I should have known that. So that's basically the basics of the collectibles. Neat and tidy. I really like doing them. They're super easy to pick up. They're a lot of fun. And another thing I really like about this game when it comes to the collectibles is that they serve a purpose. We've all played games where there's some collectibles that just don't matter for the sake of anything outside of being a completionist. Like, I'm thinking one of the most annoying collectibles I can think of is Marvel Spider-Man 1 on the PS4, the backpacks. You have backpacks all over New York, and they don't do anything. You just have to go find them. I love that in this game, all the collectibles matter. Obviously, the portals matter because you need them to open up extra levels. When you do find a secret exit, it'll warp you to like this hidden world where there's a whole bunch of extra levels with more bots and more puzzle pieces. Is awesome. But the bots and the puzzle pieces themselves actually serve a purpose as well, because while you're playing the game in outer space and you're going from one galaxy to the next galaxy, you go into a galaxy and then you'll play all the levels in that galaxy. There's also a central hub level to the game that's called the crash site, which is like a desert where the remains of your PS5 ship thing are, and you're going off in outer space to find all the pieces to your PS5 ship so you can put it back together to get off this crash site. So once you've gone into a level and picked up a bunch of bots or puzzle pieces, come back to the crash site, and the first thing it does is it drops all the puzzle pieces that you've collected into these various puzzles that are on the ground. And you don't have to solve the like jigsaw puzzles, and you don't have to solve the jigsaw puzzle yourself. It just like, if you pick up 6 puzzle pieces, it just puts the next 6 puzzle pieces into that jigsaw puzzle. But every time you complete one of these jigsaw puzzles, it turns into like a little shop on the central hub, and that's where you can use the majority of your coins in the game. And you can use them to buy new skins for your controller ship, new skins for Astro. There's a gacha machine where you can pull like costumes and accessories out of those little, those little like clear bubbles you get out of like a 25-cent machine, and then it's got like a little toy inside. You can do that with these, and you get tons of like costumes and accessories for the bots you've been saving in the game, which is really cool. And then they'll impact the way that they act in the desert, which I'll get more into in a second. So the puzzle pieces actually matter because as you pick them up, they open up extra little things you can spend your money in the game on. And then I think the last one, when you get all the puzzle pieces, that's part of the way you open up the path to the last level of the game that you need to play. Like I said, the portals just open up extra levels, and that's fine. And then, of course, the bots, which really are the star of the game. The bots are the biggest collectibles. It shows you a running tally of how many bots you've saved in the game out of 300 in total. So every time you fire it up, I love that your 3 save files are on top of PS1 memory cards. Nice touch. And this game is just PlayStation fan service out the ass. And so it'll say like you've collected 94 of 300 bots or whatever the fuck. So they're spread throughout the level. Some are pretty hidden. Some are right out in the open. And outside of the gameplay itself, they are the highlight. Because like I said, they document about 30 years of PlayStation history. I don't know the exact percentage of the bots that have themes versus just generic white little robots. But I would guess it's, I don't know, 60-40 in favor of the plain bots about that. So if the bots aren't based on anybody, they just look like Astro. They're just plain white robots that you save. They're cool. They're nice. They're charming. They're happy. They're fun. But the rest are based on so many characters from the history of PlayStation. And I'm not going to spoil all of them at all. I'll talk about a few of my favorites when we get to the spoiler cast at the end. But there are characters from pretty well every PlayStation game you can remember. I will say I didn't recognize all of them. But every time I rescued a bot that was dressed up as a character that I did recognize, it made me pop. It really just made me happy. It was really, really cool. And then all these like funny little one-liners. I'm going to spoil like 1 or 2 of the bots that pop up. It's not a spoiler to say that like, if you can think of a PlayStation franchise, they probably have bots in the game. So like you can find a Crash Bandicoot bot, which is probably my favorite bot because I love Crash Bandicoot. You can find Abe from Oddworld's Odyssey, or Abe's Odyssey, whatever the fuck that game was called, that Oddworld game. And I love that when you find him, the little 1-sentence clue as to who he is don't pull his finger. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. Like, it's some of the theme bots are just fantastic. Makeshift Money wrote in and said, bittersweet feelings about this game. It's fun and charming, but it's sad how many Sony franchises have gone dormant and only show up here. Give us less Concord and more Parappa. I can get on board with that 100%. It was super cool to see that at least PlayStation acknowledged that so many of these classic franchises exists, which is dope. But it would be nice if you would bring some of those franchises back. I can absolutely get on board with that. And like the puzzle pieces, because like I said, when you collect the puzzle pieces, you go back to the main hub world and the puzzle pieces are used to complete these puzzles. The bots are used back at the crash site. First of all, every time you come back to the crash site after you've gone out to the outer space and collected a bunch of bots, let's just say you've gone out and played like 6 levels and collected like 40 bots. When you come back to the crash site, they all just start popping up and this counter goes off like bots found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they all just start popping up and they're pretty funny. But then they're all just walking around being assholes. And it's really funny as you can just walk around this crash site and just see all the different bots. And again, a bunch of them are the putties from Power Rangers, just generic little white robots, but a bunch of them are themed, and they're all just standing around in this little desert island interacting with each other and just being dumbasses. And you can go and spend your coins in that gacha machine to get accessories for the bots. Like with the Crash Bandicoot bot, if you get his accessory out of the gacha machine, it's that little Ooga Booga mask that follows him around. So now whenever you see the Crash Bandicoot bot just standing around on the Crash site, he's got that little mask following him. Which is a really, again, just fan service, but it's really, really brilliantly well done. It's just charming as all fuck. And the Crash site itself has bots to save and puzzle pieces to find as well. Not only are you walking through the Crash site finding bots and finding puzzle pieces, but there's also bigger robots. And they'll open up the path to the next world in the game. So like, I can't remember. I think there's 6 galaxies in the game, and you start out with one open. So then you go to that galaxy, and then within that galaxy, there's like 10 or 12 levels. Once you go back to the Crash site and you have enough bots to open up the path to the next galaxy, a giant robot will crash on the Crash site, and then you can go to them, rescue them, and then they'll point out where in the galaxy is the next, or like where in outer space is the next galaxy full of levels. So then you can fly there to get there. And it's like the classic platforming system of you need to find a certain number of, like in Mario 64, you need to have a certain number of power stars to open up the next door to go to the next world. In this one, you need a certain number of bots to open up the path to the robot that will point you the way to the next galaxy. It's a smart little way to do it. And it's really funny because like there's actual meaning behind the number of bots you need. So like, again, in Mario 64, you need 7 stars to open the next door. So you just have to find 7 stars over throughout the game, and then you can go to the next world and open it up. When you play, I just finished Donkey Kong 64. When you play Donkey Kong 64, you need to find like 40, was it puzzle pieces or gold bananas? I think it was gold bananas. You need to find like 40 gold bananas to get the sign that has a counter on it to be like, all right, you found 40, now you can go to the next level. I think it's really, really cool the way to do it in this game. Let's just say you need 30 bots to open up the second galaxy of levels. Once you've got the 30 bots, then you go to the entrance to that area, and there'll be a flying robot holding up a sign that says you need 30 robots. So you go there, and you hit triangle, and Astrobot will just do like the whistle, and then the bots will just come running until you have 30 bots there, and they will provide you with access to the next area of the Crash site to get to the next galaxy. Maybe they'll form a human chain. They'll climb on top of each other's shoulders straight up in the air 30 high, then fall backwards, and the one at the top will grab a hold of a ledge on the other side of this like a cavern, and then you can run across the 30 bots to get to the area. Maybe they'll form ropes, 3 or 4 different ropes hanging off birds, and then you can swing from one bot rope to the next bot rope to the next bot rope to get across. It really is cute and charming watching these bots come together to like answer the call and help you get to the next area. And you can use them to just find more bots or solve more puzzles in the Crash site. There'll be like a giant rock, and you need 80 bots to come over, and all 80 bots will squat down with your boy Astro, and it'll be a mix and mash of like the plain white robots and the character robots that you found. It'll just be random assortment of them. They'll run over, and you'll all collectively lift the rock off the ground and stuff like that. So it really is charming watching all the bots answer the call and come running together. And I like that they do more than, like I said, the power stars or something like that. So when you finish a level, all the bots that you have rescued will pop up. So say there was 7 in the level, and then when you get to the end goal of that level, like the ending, the finish point, the finish flag, whatever the fuck, all 7 bots will pop up, and then they're doing these stupid little dances with this stupid music. Anyone that's played it, you can hear it in your head, and they're like flossing and thrusting their hips and doing these stupid little dances, and then they all jump on the controller ship with you, and you fly off into outer space so you can take them back to the Crash site. I fucking love it. Like, I have a smile on my face while I'm talking. Fuck, I love this stupid game so much. Speaking of the ends of levels, the finish points, there are some boss fights. And everyone knows I fucking hate boss fights, but the boss fights in this game are all fun. Some of them just have little mini boss fights you have to fight at the end of a level, and usually it's like a bigger version of an enemy from that level. And then there's a big boss fight at the end of each galaxy. And the ones in this game are really fun. They're all kind of based on animals. There's like a giant ape. There's a giant, I think it's a chameleon, like a giant lizard. None of them are that hard. They're all really big. They're bright. They're funny. They're colorful. You usually get a power up when you go in to fight them, and then that power up will theme to the boss fight itself. Maybe you'll get the punching gloves, the stopwatch. I will say that was my favorite boss fight in the game, was the chameleon and the stopwatch. If you've played it, you know it's awesome. The boss fights are, I don't even, like, that's how good this game is. I don't even hate the boss fights. I don't hate anything about this game. Minus that, the difficulty of that final level. And speaking of the difficulty, and I kind of touched upon this earlier, I really think Astrobot finds the pocket and gets nice and cozy in there. They nail it. To just beat the game, to just collect enough bots to open up the path to the next world until you've beaten all the worlds and put your PS5 back together and gone off in outer space. Really not that hard. I think most novice gamers could beat this video game. If you're trying to do a 100% run, finding a couple of the bots and a couple of the puzzle pieces can be a little bit tough. So you may need to help out, your kiddo or your spouse if they don't play a lot of video games. You might have to help out a new player with a couple of them. But I don't think, well, no, I shouldn't say that. About 80% of the game I think is pretty beatable, even by novice standards, because the checkpoints are really, really generous. There's a checkpoint pretty much every 30 feet in this fucking game. Non-stop lives. It's pretty forgiving for when you die. But if you want to do a 100% run, there are some optional levels in each galaxy, and they pack a punch. Some of them are pretty. I thought there's one fire level. If you were watching my stream when I was playing it, I think that's the toughest level in the game. There are a couple of those little mini levels that are pretty difficult. So in each of the galaxies you go into, which are like your worlds, there'll be, like I said, 6, 7, 8 levels with bots and puzzle pieces and stuff in them. And then there's a couple of hidden levels that you need to fly around and find. Maybe crash into an asteroid that's flying through space, and then it'll open up a level, stuff like that. And in 4 of the galaxies, there are a bunch of hidden levels based on one of the 4 PlayStation controller symbols: the circle, the cross, the triangle, the square. Once you find them, you do 4 mini levels. Each one just has a bot at the end, and they're just like a sprint marathon, very linear, no exploration, no extra collectibles in them, challenging platforming level. And like I said, well, the main levels in the games are pretty forgiving with their checkpoints. These extra little bonus challenge symbol levels have no checkpoints. They only take about a minute to complete from beginning to end, but you are going to die in a lot of them multiple times. And every time you die, it's sending you right back to the beginning of that level to go through. And like I said, there was one fire-themed level where you have to keep picking up these rubber ducks, and you squeeze them and they spray water onto lava that creates like a temporary platform that you can run on. That level probably killed me than any other level in the game. Some of those challenges, those little I wish there was more of them. To be honest, more of those little extra challenge levels, because they were my favorite part of the game, because I love tough platformers. But I do understand that they wanted to market Astrobot to everybody, as they should. And so putting too many, like, hide the difficult levels as optional so that people that don't want to play them don't have to, I think it's probably the right play. I just wish there was more of them. Toby OP said, "It's currently my game of the year. This game is nearly perfect in its platforming and it's constantly innovative. Shout out to its power-ups, keeping things fresh, but the shining star of the game are the 17 palm sweat-inducing challenge levels." I agree. Those are definitely worth looking up. They're my favorite levels in the game for sure, minus that mouse level, which is the best level in the game. Those challenge levels are fucking dope. So it's not too tough. A less skilled player could beat it, probably 100% it, but they'll have a great time with it. I really do think it lines up with some Mario games as far as difficulty, and it makes it accessible to everybody. So I'm going to get to a lot more of your comments now. I try to sprinkle comments throughout the episode, but not that it's a bad thing. Practically every comment that came in was just talking about how great this game is. And so I wanted to explain the gist of the game. Now I'll start addressing some of your comments and get into a few more of the nitty-gritty details before I make a decision on a score and then slap a little spoiler on at the end. So Rob Serino said, "I'm a wimp when it comes to video game difficulty, and I have kids. One thing I really like in this one is how the difficulty level scales up perfectly for me and my kids. It starts out pretty simple, which the kid gets the kids hooked, and then it scales up at a good enough pace for me." I agree with that. This game is brilliant in its delivery of, like, even in a level where you pick up an ability for the first time, it'll basically have you use that ability in a really simple way to start. And then by the end of the level, you're doing a little bit more complex things, which I know is video games 101. But some developers are better at that slight increase than others. And everyone involved in this game, like, perfect. Nailed the difficulty climb. It's just spot on. So Darth Vader said, I love this game. It manages to keep me and my 2 sons, who are 4 and 6, entertained for hours. It somehow manages to be easy enough for them to play, but hard enough so that I'm allowed to go every so often. It reminds me of when I was young and gaming was fun. Well said. Listen, I love gaming today. But there's something about like that's one of the reasons I love Super Mario World. Is I'm like, it's just a very fun game. And that's like, as dumb as it sounds, that is the best way to describe Astrobot. This game is just fun. It's just a fun, you don't need to worry about online, multiplayer, DLC. I mean, there's going to be DLC coming, but no microtransactions. It's just a fun, charming little game. It's fun. Video games are fun. This game is fun. Bryce Larson said, what an absolute breath of fresh air. My daughter and I are having a blast playing this together, and each new level brings some kind of new joy with it. Definitely a game of the year contender for me, 100%. And I agree with that, Bryce. And I want to just say, if you are writing this game off because you think it looks too simple, it looks too childish, it's for little kids, you are missing out. And you're doing yourself an absolute disservice. Kids will enjoy it because it's awesome. And if you're closer to my age and you grew up playing like the PS1 or the PS2, not only is it a rock solid platformer, but there's so much fan service, so many references to PlayStation history, it'll keep you invested the entire way through. I think it's worth, if you're a longtime PlayStation fan, this game is almost worth playing just for the fan service and just seeing all these constant throwbacks to PlayStation history. There's like flying PS1s, PS2, PS3s, PS4s, PlayStation Vitas, PSPs, memory cards. There are ropes in the game that are controllers from like PS1 controllers and everything. It's not to mention, again, all the bots dressed up as various characters from the history of PlayStation. It's just, I would give my left nut for a Nintendo game like this, just because I know Nintendo history better than PlayStation. But if you know anything about PlayStation history, there's references in here for you, I promise. Mike Maloney said, Astrobot reminds me a lot of my Game of the Year from 2022, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This one appears to be headed into Game of the Year territory as well. The format of the game is simple yet challenging. The music matches the atmosphere to a T, and you really do feel rewarded when you beat some of the harder challenges. Plus, this game allows me, who didn't own a PlayStation since the PS2, to get acclimated with some of the older games that I should be playing. And, oh, yes, I agree with everything you just said, Mike. Another thing I meant to say is once you beat a Galaxy's boss, this is one of the other cool fucking parts of the game. Once you beat a boss in a Galaxy, you rescue a bot from that boss, and then you unlock an extra level based on the bot you just saved franchise. And I'm not going to spoil them. This is what I'm saving the spoiler cast for. But Astrobot will actually gain the ability of the protagonist you saved from that final boss, and you'll play through a level that plays like a cross between Astrobot and a level from the franchise of the bot you just saved. I hope that makes sense. I really can't spoil it here, but like I really enjoyed some of them. They were the absolute highlights of the game for me. I can't get into any more detail until the spoiler cast, but you still play Astrobot. It's like you just pick up the extra abilities. So we'll just use Nintendo here because this won't spoil anything. Imagine a Mario game like this where you save a character that looks like Donkey Kong, and then there's one extra level where Mario plays like Mario, but he also gains the ability to do the vine climbing like Donkey Kong, and you play through a level where you kind of play as a hybrid of Mario and Donkey Kong. That's kind of how these extra levels work. I don't want to spoil any more than that, but they're fucking awesome. They're absolutely some of the highlights of the game. And they're not missable because you just unlock them as soon as you beat the boss in a Galaxy, which you have to do to beat the game. So,
why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store and online. And now all mattresses are on sale. Plus free home delivery during our Cyber Week sale. Limited time. For JD Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
The music. Mike said that the music matches the atmosphere to a T. You've already heard 2 of the songs. They're fantastic. I'm going to play one more. I'm going to play the funniest song in the game before the spoiler section. But a lot of the levels, what they do is they feature like a variation of this song. I'm going to play it one more time because I fucking love it so much. A lot, not all, but a lot of the levels feature a variation. Come on, don't freeze on me. I love this fucking song. Maybe it'll be a little bit slower or a little bit like funkier depending on the level, but a lot of them feature like a spin-off of that upbeat song. There's not a bad song in the game too. Every tune in the song is upbeat and energetic, just like the game itself. It really does fit it perfectly. I fucking love this game. Doug Walsh said, I can only assume the steady stream of praise for this game means motion controls are not required. If I'm wrong, then clearly this game is crap and I can continue my PlayStation free existence. Please, Adam, set the record straight. I will say I believe you can turn the motion controls off if you want to, listen, I fucking hate motion controls. My primary beef with the Wii is I hate having to use the Wiimote to play games. I hate motion controls. Even the motion controls in this game are fucking awesome when you do have to use them. They're fantastic. You use the gyro controls where you tilt the controller left and right, and that sometimes it controls platforms in the game, sometimes it controls the ship you're flying on. You can blow on the microphone in the controller, and it'll pick up that you're blowing, and it'll use it to spin fans and stuff like that. There's one ability that you can use to climb walls, and what you actually do is like tilt the controller right, and you'll swing his right arm up, then tilt the controller left, and you'll swing your left arm up, and you climb up that way. Everything is perfect. Even the motion controls work fucking beautifully. It's like, if you hate motion controls like I do, don't let them stop you from getting this game because they work. If motion controls always worked this well, I wouldn't even hate motion controls. Fuck, I love this game. Oh, and every time you beat a level, not a level, but a galaxy, you beat a final boss, you beat an area, you get a piece of your broken PS5 ship back, and then you actually use the motion controls and the triggers to rebuild that piece on the PS5. Doesn't feel tacked on. It doesn't feel forced. It's really charming. It's as close as I'll ever come to building a PC. I kind of feel like I've built a PC now because I built the PS5 in the game. It was awesome. Just a masterpiece. No multiplayer, not yet. Just at the state of play this week, they announced that some online speedrun levels and some new bots are coming. They will be free. They did say that more content is played for the game as well. And I will say, more content is planned for the game as well, excuse me. And I will say that I hardly ever buy DLC. This is a game I'll buy DLC for. In fact, I'll go as far as to, like, if they were to come out tomorrow and be like, hey guys, one new galaxy's coming to Astrobot. It's going to be $20, or whatever, $10, whatever the fuck. And it'll be releasing in 3 weeks. I'd probably pre-order it. There's no way I'm not playing extra levels I want more. I always wanted fucking DLC for Mario Odyssey that we didn't get. Please don't make that mistake with Astrobot. Give us more galaxies. Give us more levels. Give us more abilities. We will pay you. We'll give you money. To quote The Simpsons, shout out that reference. We want more. Fucking game. Space Age Santa said, I loved Astro's Playroom when I got my PS5. I was hesitant to buy Astrobot given my backlog, and I was planning to wait for a sale, but hearing you talk about how great it was pushed me to buy it, and I have to say, it has been ages since I felt this amount of pure joy while playing a video game. This game is magical and absolutely my game of the year. I will point out, I never played Astro's Playroom. I don't know why either. I had no problem with it. I just never got around to playing it. I'm gonna play it. This game, I'm like, fuck, I gotta go back and play Astro's Playroom now. Which, if you don't know, is like the little free game that came with your PS5 when you bought it. Yeah, I agree. I don't remember the last time I felt this much joy playing a video game either. It's fantastic. And some of you have asked me, is this the system seller? I've been on the fence. I've been waiting to buy a PS5. Is this the system seller? Is it time to pull the trigger? I think this is a system seller with the note, this is not an 80-hour game. Like I said, I 100%ed it. I think it took me a little under 20 hours. I will definitely replay it at some point. If you have kids or a spouse you want to experience it with, it's perfect. I do think this game is worth... I wouldn't buy a PS5 just to play this 20-hour platform and then never touch it again. There are some other great games on the PS5. I just think that this is... I don't know if I want to sit here and say that this is the best game on the PS5. I don't know if I want to go that far, but I will sit here and lock in, this is my favorite PS5 exclusive now. If you were to, if the PS5 ended today and you said, what is the best, or what is your favorite exclusive game that you can't play anywhere else? My answer is Astrobot. It is an absolute must play. It is probably, I'm going to let it simmer, but I don't think it's crazy to say this is the clubhouse leader for my game of the year right now. It is fuck, it's fucking good. What a great fucking, I don't know what else to say. It's a great game. Banana Bread said, a total surprise. I never liked the games that reviewers call cute, but this one backs it up with substance on every single level. It's the second best PS5 exclusive. I'd like to know what you think number one is. I'm just curious, Banana Bread. DM me or leave a comment on the episode. I want to know I'm just curious what you think number one is. I'm just curious. Daddy's Secret Little Chubby said, I just hope they release this on PC so that I can play it, because I'll be goddamned if I'm going to buy a PS5. I got to say, I don't think PC Master Racers deserve this game. Because, that's, you know what? PC Master Racers, as a console gamer, I'll extend an olive branch and say, I also hope Sony ports this to PC eventually so that you PC Master Racers can play. I think they will. I think that they know this is a bona fide hit. I think they'd be fools. They put every other one of their big hits on PC, or they're working on it. I think it'll be a while because they like to leave them exclusive. Y'all know that. But I think eventually this one shows up on PC. I'm a fan. I fucking love this game. Whenever the next Astrobot game gets announced, and it will, I have no doubt, it'll be a day one purchase for me. I say this without an ounce of exaggeration, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I will be as excited when the next Astrobot game gets announced, assuming that they keep it like a single player platformer like this and not like an online party game. Like, assuming like the next like mainline platforming experience like this, I will be as excited when that gets announced as I am when the next Mario game gets announced. I love this game that much. It's so good. I like jorts. They're comfy and easy to wear. Wrote in and said, remember when Sony used to have a bunch of fun platformers like Spyro and Ratchet and Jack? Well, remember no more, because we're back. This game is such a masterclass in fun, solid video gaming. Agreed. I agree, my friend. There's nothing in this game I hate, you guys. That last level kind of disappointed me. And it's not even that it's bad. I just wanted more bite. That's all. It's like Homer when he got the giant beer. It's pretty hard, I guess. But I want to replay it. There's not one level I hate. The ice levels are fun. The desert levels are fun. The swimming is rock solid. Even the swimming in this game is perfect. This game is going to slot in quite highly the next time I update my favorite 100 games of all time list. It does Mario better than Mario sometimes, and that is the highest praise I could give it. So a final few dick suckings, and I'm going to give it a score. Kareem the Dream said, I adored this game so much more than I thought I would, even when I already expected to like it. I don't normally like comparing games, but since they're in the same genre, I'll say I enjoyed this more than Mario Odyssey. Both fantastic games in their own right, but Astrobot is just so inventive with its mechanics, which means it was never a dull moment. My favorite levels were the ones that revolved around a certain time-based mechanic. Agreed. Well, other than the mouse level, I agree with that. Super Sweet, and the challenge levels, but they're all good. I feel like I'm picking my children, trying to pick my favorite levels. Super Sweet Joakim said the best non-Nintendo platformer I have ever played. I agree with that. Minus maybe like Shovel Knight and stuff, and Celeste. But it's up there with those games. Even if the last level was frustrating as fuck, I still continue to do it over and over again with a wide smile on my face the whole time. Pickle Mage 00769 Noise said, definitely the best way to enjoy my first title on the PS5. I bought my console 2 summers ago, and I enjoyed every part of Astro's Playroom. I'm looking forward to this newer title. You're going to love it. You're going to fucking love it. And Subpar Nova said, I've heard nothing but good things about this game, but the burning question I have is it really worth the full AAA price tag? That's $80 plus tax for us up here in Canada land, which is pretty steep for a sequel to a free game. What do you say? 100%. I listen, I know some people equate a game's value to its length. If that means a big role to you, like if you need 40, 50 hours out of a game to justify an $80 here in Canada price tag, then no, I guess. But I paid full price, and honestly, I would have paid an extra $20 for this game. I think it's for my money, it's the best game on the PS5. It's my favorite game on the PS5 from PS5 exclusives, at least, and maybe period. Like it's just, yes, it's worth full price. I was on the fence about breaking my perfect 10 rule for this one, but after just doing that review, I'm like, I literally just sat here and gargled Astrobot's balls for 50 minutes. I have to. Perfect 10. 10 out of 10. I'm breaking the Super Mario World rule. This game is a perfect 10. Off the top of my head, the only Mario games I would put ahead of this are Mario World, Mario Odyssey, I put it right there with Mario 3. And the problem is that Mario 3 and I go back 30 plus years. Astrobot and I go back 30 plus days. So I'm going to have to stew on that, but it's right there. This is a contender to be the top 3 best Mario games I ever played if it's a Mario game. It's a 10 out of 10 front runner for my game of the year right now. It is going to be hard to dethrone it. I love this fucking game. Astrobot is magnificent. It's perfect. Play it. It's perfect. Fucking perfect game. I'm going to do a very short 5-minute spoiler cast here in a minute and just talk about a couple of those spin-off levels that I really liked and a couple of the bots. And I'm going to spoil the last bot in the game. So if you don't want anything spoiled, and if you've not played this game, I do not recommend listening to this part because you should experience it for yourself, okay? So if you're not going to listen to the spoiler cast, and I'm going to play music, you got time. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for the support. Feel free to DM me with questions. Play Astrobot. It is a miracle of a video game. If you do want to hear about the spoilers, then I'm going to cue up a little bit more music right now. The funniest song in the game. When it stops, 5 minutes about some of my favorite hidden gems. We'll be right back after I fucking love that song. Last chance. If you don't want spoilers, get the fuck out of here. You got 5 seconds. You got 4 seconds. 3 seconds. 2 seconds remaining. 1 second. Here comes the spoilers. That tree is better than the Deku tree. That tree makes the Deku tree look like a boring sack of shit. I love that fucking tree. This is really going to be like 2 minutes. I don't have much to say. I love some of those levels where you play as the characters from the franchise. A couple that jumped off the page at me that I thought I thought the God of War one was the best level, where you turn into like Astrobot Kratos and you can actually throw the frozen axe and everything. I thought that was fucking sick. That one really made me pop. I also really enjoyed the Uncharted one because everybody knows I fucking love Uncharted, and it was cool that they were able to keep it like a childish, fun kiddie game while also giving you a gun and basically getting you to hide behind shit and shoot the other bots or the other enemies with this gun because it just shoots like red Nerf balls out of it, so it doesn't really seem that bad. I don't know. Excuse me. I can't remember the name because I never played it. The one where you rescue like the fuck. What is it? Is that Katamari Damacy? The one where there's like the green flat-headed tubular head guy? I can't remember. I didn't know that game. Like, I didn't recognize that franchise, but it uses like, you control like that yellow blob. I actually really enjoyed that one as well, but the Kratos one was my favorite for sure, and Uncharted was runner-up. Those were the two most memorable to me. That Kratos one, I would play an entire God of War remake as Astro Boy. I think that'd be fucking sick. I thought it was or Astro, whatever the fuck his name is. I thought that was so well done and so cool. Some of my favorite bots that popped up, I really popped when I found Leon from Resident Evil. Obviously, Crash Bandicoot was fucking cool. Finding Spyro was really neat. I actually, as much as I don't like Metal Gear Solid, finding Snake, and then I think there were some enemies from there as well, but I wasn't quite sure who they were. But I thought that was really cool. Finding Claire from Resident Evil was fucking neat. Obviously, the Oddworld guys, I really enjoyed finding as well. Dude, the Ape Escape one, the Ape Escape level, and you actually collect all the bots that are the apes. That was fucking sick. And you have the net. I think that's the first one. And you have the net and you're running around. I'm so glad I played Astrobot, played Ape Escape. There were so many of them. Like, there was some now that I'm like, fuck, I gotta go find this game and figure out what the fuck this bot was from now. If you've ever played basically any PlayStation exclusive, you are gonna find some fan service in here. I thought that was really cool. And I have to say, I was shocked that the 301st bot was Onion Head from Parappa the Rappa, but I'd be lying if it didn't make me smile when I found him. And as soon as I found him, when I beat that last level, I was like, holy fuck, is that Onion Head? And then Pyramid Head from Silent Hill 2 was a rather really cool bot. But finding that Onion Head guy, and then the little description sentence just saying kick punch, it's all in the mind, or whatever the fuck, that got a big cheer out of me as well. I don't know who I would have made the last bot. Oh, no, you know who I thought I don't know if he had a bot in it. Fuck, what was, for you longtime PlayStation fans, what the fuck was that guy's name? They used to have this guy, and he was like was his name Kevin? It was like a guy in a suit, and he just seemed like kind of a dumbass. And he was always in their commercials. Fuck, the mascot guy. fucking Kevin Butler, was that his name? Yeah, Kevin Butler. Yeah, did he have a bot? Maybe I missed it. Kevin Butler bot. Kevin Butler. Fuck, was he... I don't think he... If you don't know who Kevin Butler was, I'm telling you, look up some of his old commercials. They were fucking awesome. I don't think there was a Kevin Butler bot. I think it would have been really, really cool if he had been one of the bots at the end. I don't think he was. If he was, I might have missed it. But I don't think he was. Yeah, but he was awesome. I would have made him the final bot. I don't know if that would have been a poll. I don't know if everybody would have gotten it, but I don't know if everybody would have gotten Onion Head. If you weren't around in the PS1 era. I just like, of all the PlayStation characters it could have been to make it Onion Head, I was just a little shocked. Because I'm like, there's got to be, they haven't had a new Parappa game in forever. There's got to be a lot of players out there that have never played Parappa the Rappa. You know, I was a little bit shocked by that. So, but I liked it because I knew Parappa and I like Onion Head, and it made me laugh that it was kick punch. It's all in the mind. Or it would have been cool if they had used it to announce a new game. Like if Parappa the Rappa had been the final character, and they would have been like the tip would have been like new game coming in 2025 or something like that would have been cool. But I'm not disappointed in it. I like Onion Head, so that was fine with me. I don't have anything else to spoil. There's nothing else. It's just what a great fucking game. 10 out of 10. If you're still listening right now, I hope you've already played it. If you haven't, please play it. God, this game is... Everyone needs to play this fucking game. This is a must-play game on the PS5. Fuck, it's good. Normally, I would end with the Super Mario World end of level theme, as y'all know. But instead, I'm gonna let that Astrobot song play for another 30 seconds because I love it so much. So I'm gonna let that play for a second. Then I'm getting out of here. Thank you so much for listening. Fuck, I love this game. And you will choose what we talk about next week. We'll get that poll up right away. Okay, you guys decide. And sorry, this was about 12 hours late. Don't blame me. Blame Shaylee. Why the fuck not? Blame Shaylee. Sony, if you're hearing this, please don't yell at me for using your song. I'm just trying to sell copies of your game because it's so fucking good. You guys nailed it. Please do this again. Cheers.